is there anything more appropriate for the monster and the child than Lilo and Stitch? This short is for Gusty737. Thank you for contributing to the Indiegogo. This movie is incredible overall. It's my wife's favorite. And if you want to peek at why, look no further than the scene where Lilo adopts her new dog, Stitch. At this point, Stitch is just trying to get himself out of his current predicament, which is being hunted down by alien bounty hunters. Luckily for him, Lilo, patron saint of weird girls everywhere, comes along. Stitch makes himself look a little bit more dog-like, but not by that much. He repeats her "hi" and then gives her a hug, and Lilo is immediately smitten. The animal shelter employee and Lilo's older sister Nani are horrified by Stitch's appearance, but Lilo will not be dissuaded. By this point in the movie, both Lilo and Stitch have been established as faulty members of their respective categories: child and experimental life form. Stitch is other even to the aliens. He was literally created for chaos and destruction. Lilo, meanwhile, has a reputation as a troublesome kid. She is a little girl who is grieving her parents, and her huge, difficult emotions make her not fit the mold of a well-behaved kid. Plus, a lot of people read Lilo as neurodivergent in some way, often when relating to the way that adults just don't seem to get her, and she doesn't get them. But Lilo does get Stitch. Even though the animal shelter employee tells her that dogs can't talk and Stitch is not a real name, Lilo is confident in her choice. She sees his gross behavior and declares him good. She doesn't have the fear of difference that the older people around her do, which I think is really beautiful and heartening because it means that she hasn't been totally made to fear herself either. Part of what makes a monster is its inability to fit any other, more easily defined category of being. It doesn't adhere to any socially acceptable definitions. But that means that declaring something monstrous is always a social judgment call. Monstrosity is in the eye of the beholder, and Lilo and Stitch simply refuse to see monsters when they look at each other. I love this kind of plot for children's media because a lot of kids, like Lilo, have a hard time fitting their social categories. They can't perform innocence, obedience, or just manageability in the ways that adults expect them to, and that can make them feel monstrous. Lilo has the strength of character not to foist that same fate onto Stitch, and she forges a bond with another categoryless being that creates a new definition of family. Thank you for the prompt, Gusty737. If you want me to make a short on another monster and or child topic, check out the Indiegogo in the description.